All right, welcome to the October team meeting. I know what month we're in, I promise, I do. We'll start out with some shout outs. We're gonna do, looking at my computer, so just bear with me. Promotions last month was Emily Smith, the Superstar Consultant. We had certified Tara We Met, I think is how she pronounces her last name. We're gonna go with it. Certified was Alexis Fisher, and certified was Phyllis Martino. Top sponsor was Emily Smith again. So that is for shout outs. Reminders, our SFR 2022 is still being held next June in Salt Lake City, Utah. I have my room booked already. If you want to book your room, or if you want to go to the same location as I am, let me know and I can give you my details. Team dinner for in-person is going to be on Saturday, 5 o'clock at McGillicuddy's in Colchester. If you can RSVP on the event in Butterfly Kisses, we can try to get, give or take an accurate count of how many people we expect, just so we can get like the best table in the house, so to speak. Guide to Growth week 5 is next Thursday at 8:30. This is the last week until it's going to what's called Coach the Coach. And Guide to Growth, Coach the Coach is great for leaders. If it's something you want to do, it's optional. If it's not something you're interested in, or you're not sure if you want to grow that way, that's fine too. But I'll open it up to everybody. So those are our announcements. We are going to go back to the basics tonight. And I know that some of you are like, again, but I mean, think about it. When you first started, that's when you were successful, is you went back to the basics. So a lot of people are brand new, or a lot of you have just sponsored your first teamie, and they're like, they have their launch party. Now what? And that's a really hard question. It's like, what do they want to do? Why do they want to do all those things? And I always tell my teamies, the first thing I recommend they do is go to their workstation, in the top right-hand corner, type in the number 100, just 100, and then hit the search button. What that's going to pull up at the top option is a PDF, and it says list of 100 interactive form. Download the PDF. I recommend printing it off because I don't like using PDF forms on the computer, but that's just, I'm a pen and paper girl. And print off your list. What it's going to look like, and mine's already, because I do everything with you. If I ask you to do it, I'm doing it, or I've done it. I was just making mine. This is what it looks like, but these are all my names. And that's what I'm going to go over next, on how to get those names. So what I want you to think of when you print this list is 5 what they're called Franks: friends, relatives, acquaintance, neighbors, and kids contacts. This can be nieces and nephews. You don't need kids to say that you can skip that category. We all have family in some shape or form that has kids in it. And then I want you to set a timer for 15 minutes. 15, because we're all busy. Take a timer for 15 minutes and scroll Facebook or Instagram, pick your poison, so to speak, or pick both. And anybody that comes up in your newsfeed, write their name down and then put a letter next to it. Are they a friend, a relative, an acquaintance, a neighbor, or are they a kid's relation? And then scroll. Like, if you see something, you're like, oh, it's a beautiful picture, type, comment on there too at the same time. Beautiful, stunning, like something simple but engaging that, a lot of people are like, thank you. It just kind of reminds people that, you see their stuff. But put their name on the list, scroll. Put the next, do the same thing. Next person's name on the list, put a letter, scroll. That's called intentional scrolling. Here's what you're going to do next. You're going to reach out, but you're not going to ask for a party. You're not going to ask about joining. You're not going to do any of that stuff. Why? That's cold messaging. We don't cold message. It's not cool. I don't open cold messages. I leave them unread. So why would I do that to somebody else? You're going to build a basic conversation. I know it's crazy, right? We're going to have actually a conversation with somebody. But you're going to have a conversation. You're going to build a relationship. Because if someone's like, hey, just started this business, would you like to party? I'm not going to read that. Not. And I don't expect any of my customers to read a message like that from me. I don't. So I would start with something, hi, haven't seen you since high school. How's life? Something so simple. You're literally having a conversation like you just went to a family, like a high school reunion. I see that you finished school. Congratulations. Anything that's simple that you like, you can look at their Facebook, see what they're doing a little bit, and then jump into the conversation. Eventually, as you're building this relationship, building this conversation for those that do reply, you're going to eventually say, you know, what do you do for work these days? You have no idea probably what half of your high school friends are doing for work, right? So with that, eventually that's going to be your seed area. Oh, I'm working at this daycare and I sell Scentsy. I work at the hospital in neurology and I sell Scentsy. It's your seed area. You have officially said what you're doing and you haven't sold it. You're sharing it. But eventually the topic of work always comes up. Work's hard, work is busy. I did a lot today because I had a lot on my work plate. So that's known as your green flag when it comes to work, is sharing what you did, not selling it. And I know Emily went over that last night. And then wait for the reply. You never know how they're going to reply. Oh, that's great. I didn't know you worked at the hospital. Oh, great. It's great. I didn't know you sold Scentsy. I need somebody. I don't have anybody. What is Scentsy? That's a common question I get. What is Scentsy? Well, there's my green flag to be like, here you go. And don't word vomit. Scentsy is a home fragrance company. And we provide fragrance in lots of different ways. Versus warmers, wax and warmers. Goodness, I can't talk. All the way to things that are unpluggable and go right in the car, and things I can hide in my teenager's room. Because we all know teenagers stink. But after you've planted that seed, even if you just carry on the conversation and build that relationship still, they're going to start watching you. The algorithm in Facebook's and Instagram is going to start having them see your stuff more often. And that's when you, yet again, don't just share Scentsy on your personal page. You sprinkle it in. I maybe do a post once every 2 weeks, maybe. Like my stories, it's in there. And people look at stories and they rotate when they're bored. They just kind of click and go and look at pictures. But like my personal page itself, once every 2 weeks or so is when I put it in. An example of this for me personally was I asked one of my frontline who just fell off last month. She was a hobbyist. She only had joined for a discount. And when she fell off after a year, I said, hey, now that you're not a consultant anymore, do you want to do a party? Because I know that you're, that way you can still get a little bit of a, so to speak, a discount in the fact of, you earn rewards. And she said, maybe. I was like, okay, cool. Today, that was literally last week. Today we chatted and I said, my kid went into quarantine. Her kid did too. They're in the same class for close contact. I said, hey, if I'm just saying, I'm super grateful that I don't have to figure out like my job right now. My job is working from home with Scentsy. I don't have to figure out like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to figure out this time off? Do I have the time off? All that kind of stuff. And she said to me, did I ever reply to you about that party? And I said, you did. You said maybe. She goes, I meant to say yes. I was so distracted. I didn't mean to say maybe. Let's do it. And she gave me a date right there and then. And I just was saying how I was grateful that I didn't have to figure out time off and all that kind of stuff for our children that are both quarantined from school right now because of close contact. Like, and I wasn't selling it to her. I was sharing that I was being grateful. So like, how does your Frank list work? Well, that's one of the ways, like she's a friend. One of the things I was thinking was for homework, because you can't do this on a team meeting, it would take too long to do, is figure out for the rest of 2021, because we're in October, we're in the middle of October actually. So figure out the last 6 weeks of the year. I think we're at 6 weeks already, and bananas, that scares me. How many parties do you want to have? They're gonna tell us soon. I don't think they've told us yet when the last shipping day is for the US. They'll tell us, and it's usually around the 10th to the 15th for the last day of December to be guaranteed for Christmas. And it's usually closer to that 10th mark. So like your first week of December, pre-load it, front load it, whatever the term is that you use, like nuts, because once the shipping date has passed, a lot of people try to enjoy family time, to be honest. And a lot of ways that people get a lot of PRV also in those months are offering bundles for teachers, Secret Elf, Secret Santa, like all of those. Say, hey, I have a $15 bundle, perfect for Secret Santa. And those go very quickly and easily because it's the right price point for what they're offering for their works and colleagues. So figure out how much, so sorry, tangent. Figure out how many parties you want to have left for this year, 2021. Print off your list of 100, the sheet, and then fill your list. Fill it. I want 100 on there, and I don't want all the same name. I have a teenager. I know that some people try to do that. Don't put all the same one person's name. You got this. You know 100 people. I've looked at some of your friend lists. You know, apparently, some of you guys know 1,000 people. You can find 100 people to ask. Well, after you fill it with 100 people, I want you to send me a picture. And then I want you to tell me what your follow-up system is for reaching out to these people, and how you're going to follow up with them for the replies and what your next step is going to be. Because this is going to be putting a system in place that works for you as you slowly build your customer base very quickly. Like I did this when I first joined and I had 9 parties my first month. And then the first 3 people who can do this will get a gift from me. I know it's a little bit of homework, but I feel that if you truly want to show like what you can do or what you want to produce for paychecks for Christmas or to build quickly and efficiently getting ready for February when we do transition, this is a great way to do now before the holidays really kick in hard. And I speak from experience because this time last year is when I hit director. And then 5 months later, I hit star director. And I do this every single catalog season, is this list of 100. Like this is the one I'm making tonight before everyone jumps on. And I keep my old list because my husband would say I'm a hoarder of some sort. But I always have my old list. I don't know where it is. It's in my notebook somewhere right here. But like I have my list of 100 with names crossed out. People have joined. I put a C next to it if it means they've joined as a consultant. Like I have my system. And each season when I do this, I perfect it a little more, a little easier, so that I'm not scrambling to figure out who am I going to ask and how am I going to get my PRV to support my family. So that was all that our meeting was really on, was learning a basic skill. And then if you want to take it on as homework, I'm here and I will mentor you through that. And like I said, the first 3 people who can handle the homework, if you need me to repeat it, will also get a gift from me. Because I want you to know that I see you, I appreciate you, and I know that this can do big and beautiful things for you as a business or as your hobby, whatever you need it to be. So yeah, that was all I had. Does anyone have any questions? You guys are all quiet. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. See, give me 1 second.